Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another very important live video update tonight. Now, I obviously spoke on the last video update that I did last week about the importance of getting your submissions in relation to the government's proposed legislation to force some businesses to accept cash while allowing others to refuse it. So this is a very, very important reminder that consultation period closes tomorrow. That's Friday, the 14th of February. Okay, so you must get your submissions in before then. So this is the article that I held up last week. I'm not going to go through it all again now, but if you scroll down towards the end of the article down the bottom, you'll find the email address that you can send those submissions to. So again, there'll be a link going up in the comments section if you're watching this on Facebook. If not, just do a search online. If you're watching this on YouTube or BitChute or somewhere else, do a search for this title and it will come up with this article and it will give you a link to that email address. But so important that we get everybody to send those emails through and put those submissions in. So please understand that there's no template that you can send in. It is really, really important that you put this into your own words, okay? You want to make sure that these people understand in your own words why it's important to you specifically that all businesses be required to accept legal tender and why no business should be given any sort of exemption. If businesses want to provide the choice of cash or card payments, well, that's fine. That's up to them, but they must accept cash as a form of payment. Now, I know many of you are going to be out there celebrating Valentine's Day tomorrow, and that's fantastic, but this is vitally important. So I urge you all, please find the time somewhere, just 10-15 minutes between now and midnight tomorrow to email something in to that address, and let's bombard these people with these messages that Aussies still want to use cash. Of course, if you needed any other reason, in addition to all the other reasons that we've covered over the past 10 years or so of why using cash is so important, just have a listen to the latest change that Mastercard wants to bring in. Now, this is the article. It is a little bit longer, but I urge you all to read it because when you understand the full ramifications of this, you'll understand why this is just such an absolutely insane proposal. So it says, Mastercard is dropping card numbers. Here's why it could change the way you pay forever. Recent changes in the world of finance are about to shake up the way we handle payments, and it's not just a small tweak. What was once considered the standard for card security is now being challenged by a move that could completely redefine your shopping experience. This shift could have far-reaching implications from the way we make everyday purchases to the very nature of our financial security. Mastercard announced a plan to eliminate the 16-digit numbers from debit and credit cards by 2030. This is only 5 years away, people, okay, in a bid to fight identity theft and card fraud. This change involves replacing the traditional card numbers with tokenization and biometric authentication. In 2022, Mastercard began offering biometric payment options, allowing transactions with a smile or a wave of the hand. Isn't that nice? Tokenization converts the 16-digit card number into a unique token stored on a device, ensuring that card information is never shared when making payments. But what happens to the device? That's the key. AMP Bank will be the first to roll out these numberless cards, with other banks expected to follow within the next year. In 2023 to 24, card fraud in Australia reached 868 million, up from 677 million for the previous year. Fraudsters often gain access to card details through data breaches, putting consumers at risk. And yet the government wants us all to sign up for digital ID and director ID, and they tell us it's all perfectly safe. And you're actually going to believe that rubbish? Come on. Late in 2024, a significant data breach affected over 300 million customers worldwide, including from Marriott and Starwood hotels. Similarly, Ticketmaster's breach exposed hundreds of millions of customers' personal and payment details. Card not present fraud, which accounts for 92% of the card fraud in Australia, saw a 29% rise in the last financial year. The card verification value, or CVV system, was designed to ensure the person making the transaction physically held the card, but it has proven ineffective. So please understand this, everybody. They brought in a system, the CCV number on the back of the cards, to stop this fraud, and it's been proven ineffective. Why on earth should we believe that getting rid of the 16 numbers and coming up with some new biometric system, which is what they're trying to do, is somehow magically going to be more effective when their last system failed? Don't buy into this rubbish. By eliminating the need for companies to store payment details, Mastercard aims to mitigate the risk of future breaches. It's only an aim, and it's only going to mitigate it. So it's not going to stop it. It's not going to eliminate it. And they're telling you that in black and white. Don't fall for it. However, this shift to a tokenization and biometric system raises some concerns. Damn straight it does, particularly for seniors and those with disabilities. Many older consumers do not use mobile banking, potentially excluding them from the new protections. While tokenization strengthens security, it shifts the vulnerability to mobile phones and telecommunications providers. So all Mastercard is doing is a great big handball and passing everything on to the telcos so that they can wash their hands of it. Not our problem, it's their issue now. Criminals already exploit phone-based attacks, such as mobile phone porting and impersonation scams, and these risks could increase. So again, they're telling you in black and white, it's not going to fix anything. Biometric data, unlike card numbers, however, cannot be changed once exposed in a data breach. And that's the real kicker. This makes biometrics data a prime target for attackers, raising concerns over the long-term implications of such data theft. Biometric breaches, though less frequent, have occurred, such as the Biostar 2 breach in the UK, which exposed fingerprints and facial recognition data of over 1 million people. In Australia, Outerbox reportedly exposed the financial recognition data of, again, over 1 million individuals. And this is the system that they want to bring in to make things safer for everybody. I mean, this is just absolute insanity. So just so I make sure that every single one of you understands what they're proposing here, okay? They want to implement a new process of eliminating the 16-digit credit card and debit card numbers, which can be reissued if there is a data breach, and they want to replace that with biometric data which can't be reissued or changed if there's a breach. And before this new technology has even been rolled out, which they're proposing to do in the next year or so, they are already admitting that there have been numerous serious breaches of the very technology that they want to change to. I mean, this is pure insanity. I mean, is it just me? Or that are they deliberately trying to make things worse for people, but just sell it to them in such a way that those that just don't think 2 steps ahead embrace it? I mean, it is crazy that they're even proposing this, and what's even worse is that I know people will be lining up for it like they already are with the chip in the arms. So, again, this is the perfect time to remind everyone about Jason Bryce's petition. Okay, that is the one to legislate a formal cash and banking guarantee in this country and force shops to accept cash and to eliminate all tap and go payments completely before we start running into all of these issues. So again, you should find a link to that in the comments section, or again, just type in Jason Bryce petition into Google or DuckDuckGo and you'll find a link to that petition. And please keep in mind, okay, cash doesn't crash. Cash can't be hacked. It's so important to keep using cash. Okay, and again, on that point, don't forget to join our Call Out Cashless Businesses Facebook group. Again, you should find a link going up in the comments on Facebook. Again, let's keep naming and shaming these companies that refuse to accept cash, okay, that are unaware of the overall agenda, or worse still, are actually trying to promote it. And again, be sure to also join that sister group, which is the Cash is King discussion group. Again, you'll find a link in the comments, or just look it up on Facebook. And let's again share all of these ideas around as far and as wide as possible. You know, share these articles around, share these videos around, so that people understand the real dangers of this cashless push and this cashless agenda that they're trying so hard to get through. All right, now changing tack a little, but still speaking of money, have a listen to the absolutely insane amount of money that the bronze statue that is being proposed to be built in Dan Andrews' honour. I mean, there's a contradiction in terms, okay? Just see what it's actually going to cost taxpayers, okay? And most importantly, understand how easy it is to put a stop to this madness if we all take action. So this article is entitled Revealed Staggering Cost to Taxpayers of Daniel Andrews' Bronze Statue in Melbourne. Victorians have been warned a controversial statue to honour former State Premier Dan Andrews will cost taxpayers a fortune in repair bills from vandal attacks. I have no doubt. The state is set to foot the bill after plans for the bronze statue were confirmed last September, a year after Andrews suddenly quit politics after 9 years as Premier. The process of installing the statue is already underway, with an insider revealing it will be placed at One Treasury Place in the CBD next to the State Parliament buildings. No official costings have been released, but Peter Corlett, the artist behind 4 previous statues of former premiers, has estimated each cost on average $100,000. $100,000 to honour this muppet. But the project has been given the green light by the Labor-run state government, despite Victoria facing a crippling budget crunch amid a ballooning debt crisis. New senior opposition spokesperson Brad Roswell called for the statute to be axed over its initial expense and fears of a cost blowout in the years ahead. Cost of living is through the roof and Victorians don't feel safe in their homes, he said. But Labor want to push on with an obelisk to their former dear leader. How out of touch can this mob be? Dan Andrews' legacy, now eclipsed by the incompetence of Jacinta Allen, is nothing to celebrate. He stuffed the state, sent us broke, and every Victorian is paying the price of his destruction. The truth is the statue, should it go ahead, it'll be vandalised or even decapitated every other day and will spend more time being repaired than being in public. It's a cruel twist. I fear it'll keep costing taxpayers more money to fix it and keep it protected. It's about time Labor read the tea leaves on this one and rid their former leader to the dustbin of history where he belongs. Prominent Melbourne business leader Rob Angel has also spoken out against the statute and warned it could be the last straw for him and other companies. He's currently evaluating whether to pull his multi-million-dollar company Enviro Group out of Victoria following Andrews' stint as Premier. Our crippling debt for generations will be a sufficient reminder of Andrews' premiership. We don't need a statue, he said. Andrews is responsible for the near bankruptcy of Victoria, and the state debt under his and Jacinta Allen's Labor government is truly shocking. Our net debt is growing by $80 million a day and is set to reach a record $187 billion by 2027. That's just 2 years away. Our interest payments exceed $1 million and our debt could buy 47 large metropolitan hospitals, so I don't think a cent should be spent on a statue. Andrews garnered unwavering loyalty and admiration from some and derision from others over his 9 years in the role. Both his life in Victoria post-retirement, but his life in Victoria post-retirement turned into a nightmare as he faces stoushes on several fronts. Multiple companies and owners, including Jim's mowing boss Jim Penman and Melbourne hospitality supremo Paul DiMartina, banned Andrews from their businesses and services, and I've covered that previously. Restaurateur Chris Lucas also revealed he told Andrew's wife Catherine not available after she called up to book a table at his Windsor eatery Hawker Hall, located on the once bustling Melbourne Chapel Street precinct during the COVID lockdown. Prestigious National Golf Club on the Mornington Peninsula banned Andrews from joining, and there was also rumours exclusive Portsea Golf Club knocked back the ex-premier as well. Bronze statues of state premiers who spent more than 3,000 days in office are immortalised outside government offices near Treasury Gardens in central Melbourne under a rule introduced by former Liberal Premier Jeff Kennett. Well, I wonder what Jeff Kennett has to say about this proposed statue to Dan Andrews, because I'm pretty sure even he doesn't want that to go ahead. Now, here's the funny thing, though, that people power can achieve amazing results. I've talked about this a number of times before. So if everybody, especially those in Victoria, were to write to their state and local ministers, making their thoughts on this proposed statute loud and clear, it can still be stopped. And that, of course, would avoid all of the potential violence, the destruction, and that endless waste of ongoing taxpayer dollars. So, as always, I urge you, please, put pen to paper or go to your computer if that's what you prefer and write up a letter to your local MP and make your thoughts on this statute crystal clear, and let's put an end to this nonsense once and for all. Now, here's another thing. In addition to all of the stoushes that I mentioned in that article, let's not forget that Andrews is still facing his greatest stoush yet. And that, of course, is with the Mulemans, who are continuing to threaten civil action against him and his wife for defamation if they don't come clean about the truth about that accident. And they've now got only 2 weeks left. So this is the latest post that's gone up on the Bike Boy scandal pages, and if you just type Bike Boy scandal into your search engine, you'll find it on various platforms. So again, I urge everyone to please be sure to donate and support the Mulemans in their quest to hold the Andrews accountable for at least some of the insane mess they've created in Victoria. All right, now the next thing is, if you want to focus on a politician that you should be considering building a statute to, then Donald Trump certainly has to be at the top of the list. Now, I've spoken a number of times on these videos about some of the huge changes that he's already implemented and the impact that that is actually having around the world. So this week, of course, Trump has announced his tariffs on steel and aluminium, and he was said to be considering an exemption for Australia. So it turns out that he actually had a 40-minute phone call with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, only to then still, after all of that, just walk away and say that an exemption was under consideration. So here's a question to ponder. Were they really talking about tariffs and surpluses, or was Trump perhaps trying to bring Albo and Australia back in line with Trump's free speech policy, given the very draconian misinformation and disinformation legislation that Albo and his cronies recently tried to bring in, and of course the social media age verification legislation that they rushed through last year. Now, here's the thing. Trump has had a lot of influence with social media and free speech of late, with Zuckerberg backtracking on the whole fact-checking thing, as well as the UK backtracking on their Online Safety Act as well. So if you missed this article, it's worth a read, and let's hope that we can get the same thing to happen here. So this one is entitled UK Labor Government Willing to Rework Online Safety Act to Avoid Trump Tariffs. Labor is willing to renegotiate elements of its flagship Online Safety Act, raising the prospect that its social media censorship laws could be softened to address free speech concerns and help secure a trade deal with Donald Trump's administration. Granting sweeping new powers to Ofcom to regulate online content, the Act has been criticised for its broad scope, particularly its measures targeting so-called harmful but legal speech. It allows for huge financial penalties against tech companies that fail to remove content deemed harmful, even if it's not unlawful, in direct contrast to the US approach, where speech protections are far stronger. Critics, including the Free Speech Union, have long argued that these provisions will pressure social media companies to adopt an if in doubt, cut it out approach, preemptively removing or suppressing lawful content to avoid substantial financial penalties. The Electronic Frontier Foundation has also warned that the Act could create a blueprint for repression, encouraging platforms to err on the side of censorship rather than risk enforcement action. With Ofcom soon to gain new oversight powers, there's growing concern that lawful but controversial content, particularly political speech, satire and journalism that challenges prevailing orthodoxy, could be algorithmically shadow banned, deprioritised or removed entirely. With British free speech laws already far stricter than America's, sources suggest the Online Safety Act is now viewed by US officials as a roadblock to a UK trade deal. Andrew Hale, a trade policy analyst at the Heritage Foundation, said every meeting I have to discuss trade policy with people either in the administration or Congress, they always raise that. They say this is a huge roadblock. If Ofcom tries to fine X or Facebook 10% of their global turnover for not removing content that isn't unlawful, I predict a showdown between Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg and the UK government, he said. If that happens, Trump will side with his tech bros and tell Sir Keir that if he wants a trade deal, he'll call off his dogs. With US tariffs looming, Downing Street is increasingly concerned about the economic consequences of the act. President Trump has already paused tariffs on Mexico and Canada following negotiations, and Starmer is reportedly hoping that similar concessions on social media laws could prevent the UK from becoming Washington's next trade target. With Ofcom's new enforcement powers set to take effect in March, so that's just next month, Britain may soon have to decide whether to prioritise online censorship or transatlantic trade, a choice that could have major implications for the future of free speech in the UK. So this is all very serious stuff, and as I said, let's keep our fingers crossed that Trump can get a similar message across to Albanese, and let's hope that he takes heed and softens some of this new legislation that was rushed through last year. And if not, those people who work in the steel and aluminium businesses could be doing it a lot tougher very soon. Now, speaking of the US and what Trump is trying to achieve, there is more good news this week as Tulsi Gabbard was just sworn in as the Director of National Intelligence. Now, I've just taken some of the key bits in case anyone's not aware of this, and again, why this is important here in Australia. The article says that Tulsi Gabbard sworn in as Trump's Director of National Intelligence. The former Democratic Congresswoman, among President Donald Trump's most controversial nominees, overcame the initial objections of a handful of Republicans skeptical about her qualifications and past behaviour. Tulsi Gabbard, the former Democratic Congresswoman turned Trump supporter, on Wednesday was sworn in as the Director of National Intelligence, overseeing the full roster of US intelligence agencies and serving as President Donald Trump's top advisor on such matters. Gabbard, 43, who represented Hawaii for 8 years in Congress, has committed to implementing Trump's desire for cuts at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence as part of his administration's larger quest to slash government bureaucracy and spending. Gabbard has pledged to provide Trump with honest, unvarnished intelligence assessments as her job mandates. So, this is really, really exciting because not only is it another significant win for Trump, because, of course, now he has another person in a position of significant power to increase transparency and, of course, reduce the cost of the whole intelligence community. Also to help, of course, reduce the United States' involvement in overseas conflicts. I mean, let's not forget, Trump is one of the very few presidents to not start or get involved in any new conflicts during his time in office. But it could also have a significant impact on Australia with, of course, that Five Eyes alliance as well. So definitely watch this space. But once again, Trump continues to make waves right around the world, and he's only been in office for 3 weeks. So very exciting stuff. All we need now is, of course, for RFK Jr. to be officially sworn in as the health director. And then Trump will be well on his way to making America great again. And of course, hopefully many other countries will follow suit including, of course, Australia. So finally, on that point, I have mentioned already a couple of times this year the absolute barrage of articles that have come up on my feed or come across my desk about all the various new viruses and pandemics that they're talking about. Now, I didn't mention anything on last week's video because I had obviously a number of other articles that I needed to get through, but I just wanted to quickly share with you all the sheer number of articles that I've seen in just the last 2 weeks pushing for some new pandemic in one form or another. So I'm just going to flip through these so that you can see them. So this one, fresh UK health warning as hospital cases of highly contagious virus hit record high. What's this one? New deadly virus sparks pandemic fears, and all pretty pictures of viruses and the like. What have we got here? New cases of deadly virus found in UK as COVID-era vaccine sites launched. Okay, more fear-mongering at its greatest. Remember, this is just in the last couple of weeks. Haven't seen anything like it. Experts' horrific superbug warning. Ooh, it's got me shaking in my shoes. Experts who predicted COVID years in advance reveal how new virus could trigger pandemic. So it's all virus pandemic, virus pandemic, virus pandemic. It's all just all over the media. New deadly mystery virus could be next pandemic and is threatening mankind. I mean, this is the rubbish that the media are reporting on, seemingly on an almost daily basis. Ah, yes, and then, of course, there's the kicker. The new Mpox vaccination that's now available. Isn't that exciting? New Mpox vaccination sites open across England. Where are they and who is eligible? Who cares is what I say. But the reason I share these with you, and obviously I'm not going into any detail, I'm not buying into any of that rubbish, but I just want everybody to know, okay, that they are seriously pushing for some kind of new pandemic. Okay, and they're already rolling out, new vaccines for people. So obviously once they do actually, roll out whatever it is that they've got planned, I'm going to be somewhat limited to what I can say on these videos, due to the good old Facebook fact checkers. And yes, I know Zuckerberg said that he was getting rid of them, but at present, unfortunately, that only applies in the US. So please, I just want everyone to be aware of and just keep in mind and remember all of these articles so that you have all the evidence that you need to show people that whatever they roll out, whenever that may be, was all very clearly pre-planned. Okay, because that is the key. All right, so just finally to finish off, a very, very quick reminder that there's only 5 days left if you want to take advantage of our very special 20% off early bird discount for anyone who wants to be part of our live webinar series, our 2 live events, one in Melbourne, one in the Gold Coast, or our 2 special boot camp events that are at the end of the year. Now, even at the full ticket price, these events are exceptionally well priced and very, very accessible to everybody. But with an extra 20% off, they are an absolute no-brainer for anyone who's serious about learning about their rights. So please just go to our seminar page. You'll find a link, I think, in the description of the video and again in the comments section. And just look over that. Just select whatever events you're interested in being part of. And just be sure to enter the words early bird into the coupon code box that comes out on the checkout page. And you must do that before midnight next Tuesday. Okay, so before midnight next Tuesday, which I think is the 18th of February, if you want to get an extra 20% discount on those tickets. All right, and finally, as I always do, I'm going to finish off with the latest feedback from one of our members and, of course, go through some more memes for everybody as well. So this one's nice and short and sweet. It was forwarded to us from the Aussie Speeding Fines guys from a lady, Fiona. Hi, just writing to let you know my case was dismissed before contest hearing as the police officer who pulled me over is no longer a police officer, so prosecutor said that he's dismissing it. Thank you for the information. Positive outcome. Okay, so I've said this a million times to a million people. The minute you pay your fine, that's it. It's finished. It's all over. There's nothing more you can do. okay? But by challenging your fine and pushing them out, there's a million reasons, okay, why it might still be withdrawn or dismissed, and that's a perfect one. We've all heard, how desperate the police forces are. People, police officers are leaving in droves. Police officers just don't stay anywhere near as long in the job as they used to. So if you can drag things out for a year or so through the court system, and all of a sudden the police officer's left, there's no one who can give any evidence against you. Okay, so please, if you don't yet have it, make sure you grab that Aussie Speeding Fines book. Okay, use all of the tried, tested and proven strategies to successfully challenge any unjust, unlawful fine that you might receive. All right, now I thought this was interesting. I'm not sure, it's a little bit small, so I'll hold it in close, but apparently this is straight off Google Images, which is now already renamed the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. So they've officially renamed it now, so that's very interesting to see. Yes, with all of the woke insanity hopefully coming to an end, and the end of all the transgender rubbish, at least in the US, I think this makes a lot of sense. I think we can all safely conclude that the timeout generation hasn't worked out anywhere near as well as the smack on the arse generation. And I think that is a very big problem. There's no accountability. There's no punishment. There's nothing that goes on now. So people just run rampant with absolute insanity. So if we can go back to the good old, smack on the backside, keeping kids in line, I think as they grow up, things will be a lot better. Yes, this one's been doing the rounds, and I dare say that it is very, very true. So, as it says there, who's not getting turbo cancers and dying suddenly? That, of course, would be the unvaccinated. And what do you know? Here I am, still standing, still alive, no jabs. Who would have thought? As I know many of you are as well. So, yes, and this one is just brilliant. I mean, you can't make it any clearer, any simpler than that. Okay, let me get this straight. You're mad at the guy who found all the fraud and theft, but not at the people who wasted and stole that money. Idiots. Okay, and this is what's going on at the moment. Okay, people who are attacking Trump, and all he's doing is exposing the fraud, exposing the waste, and they're getting mad at him because they don't like what he's showing. Okay, and I get that. I understand that. I get that all the time. I get comments on these videos, and you're this and you're that and all the rest of it. Hey, don't get mad at me. I'm just exposing the truth. I'm just giving you the truth behind all these stories for you to go away and research and figure out for yourself what you want to believe. But don't just blindly believe, of course, everything that the media, prattles on about. That's the biggest issue. So I'm going to leave things there tonight. As always, I do urge you to make use of all the information and the resources that are available to you to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. We really do need that this year more than ever. Of course, these videos are completely free to watch. You find them on the videos tab on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, and of course our BitChute channel. Don't forget our radio shows, completely free to listen to every second week. We will be back on air again with another very important live radio show this coming Tuesday, which I believe is the 18th of February. So it's completely free to tune into between 8 and 10 p.m. Just go to the radio show tab on our website, click on the big black listen live button, and you can listen live from anywhere you are in the world. Of course, if you've missed any of our past shows and you want a refresher, you can join up as a podcast member. It's less than $5 a week, okay, to join up as a podcast member. Don't forget, we are doing coaching calls again now. I've been doing a number of coaching calls this week, so if you are struggling a little bit with the information, you need a little bit more personalized assistance for whatever your particular scenario is, you can just go onto our website, onto the shop page, and you can book a one-on-one coaching session. And of course, a reminder that I am working a lot more with my success coaching clients this year. Had a bunch of new clients on board. We're already achieving some really, really good results for people. So if you do want to jump on board as a new success coaching client, you can just jump on the website, and there is a 50% discount for all new clients for the first session. So do that, or just shoot me an email, mike@successcoaching.net.au, and I can look after you in that regard. Now, of course, if you want to go above and beyond all that information, we do, of course, have our Know Your Rights book the essential step-by-step manual for understanding and exercising your rights. That Aussie Speeding Fines book for fighting all manner of unjust and unlawful fines. And of course, a lot of people are still struggling financially, so please stop throwing good money after bad at these unsecured loans, at your credit cards, your personal loans. They really can be written off, discharged with just a handful of letters. So all that process is in that book. You can get these all individually. There's links in the description. You can get them all as part of the combo pack. And of course, you do get that tote bag included as a little bonus, no extra charge. Don't forget, we do have our caps. We've certainly had some warm weather around the place this week. I think it's going to cool off at least in Melbourne for the weekend, but still grab your caps. People come up, they have a chat, they see the logo. Great way to meet like-minded people. The live events, as I said, take advantage of that discount before Tuesday. If you can't make our live events for any reason, or if you want a preview of what we're going to be covering, please grab a copy of our home study course. It is a complete recording of one of our 2.5-day events. There's 3 custom-made workbooks. There's spaces to write notes next to every single slide from every single presentation, and it is a brilliant resource that you'll come back to again and again and again over the years. All right, there's a link in the description for that as well. I'm going to leave things there. I hope you all have a very happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. We'll be back again on Tuesday night with our next live radio show. And again, of course, next Thursday for our next live video update. Until then, take care. Have a great weekend.